welcome to another quick look. This time I'm taking a look at the Darkest Dungeon by Rectuga Studios. So the game was originally kickstarted, and now it is available in early access on Steam. And it is one of the best and most polished early access games I've ever seen. If the game actually didn't tell you that the game is early access and a couple of the regions, which I will show you in a moment, weren't hidden, or were hidden, that you couldn't see them, you would never know this is actually an early access game, because it is already pretty much a full game, and you can easily play this for more than 20 hours until you complete all of the content, so it's actually pretty well done. But anyways, the game itself is basically a kind of roguelike, turn-based strategy RPG with a kind of dark Cthulhu lore, or Lovecraftian lore in it. So let me explain you about the game. So this here is the first tutorial mission, basically, when you start the game, and this is how you pretty much spend most of your time in the game. So you delve into dungeons, kill some enemies. You have certain goals, like this one has it's the old road, find your way to the hamlet. There's like goals like explore 100% of the rooms, 90% of the rooms, all combat rooms, kill certain bosses, find some altars, purify them, and find some medicine, all kinds of stuff. So there is always a mission goal when you delve into one of these areas. And let me show you some of the mechanics of the game. So the big thing about the game is that your party is composed of 4 members, and you always fight max 5 enemies as well. Currently in this tutorial you only have 2 of them, but a big thing about the game and the combat mechanic is that is the ranks where your party members are. So basically, he's in the rank 1, so he's in the front. He's rank 2, and then there's rank 2 and 3 and 4 as well. And same for the enemies. So there are 1 to 4 in ranks. So basically, there's melee range at 1 and 2, and then ranged abilities from ranges or ranks 3 and 4. And that affects a lot about in the game how it works. So if you take a look at these abilities down here, so every class, so this is the Crusader, which is kind of tanky, melee, Holy Warrior, and then we have a Highwayman here. They all have 4 abilities, although they can have more than 4. So if you right click on the hero here, you see the stat roster sheet here, and you see that there's 7 skills for each hero that they can use in combat, and then we have camping skills. So in a long dungeon you can actually camp and use these abilities during camping time. And 4 skills are active at all times, and you can switch these while you're in the town however you want. And if you take a look at these skills, you see the dots above the name there. So the ability is Smite level 1, and you see the yellowish dots on the left side and the red dots on the right side. So that's the ranks or rows in battle, and this ability can be used from ranks 1 and 2, so the yellow dots in your party formation, and the ability will hit or can hit enemies in ranks 1 and 2. So basically it's a melee ability you can use from front rank and hit enemies in there. So there is stuff like a Zealous Accusation, which is another one you can use from ranks 1 and 2, and it will actually hit both of the rank and 1, as it has the connecting line between those, and it shows it's actually a ranged ability, which is kind of funny, even though you can only use it in melee. And then we have a Stunning Blow, so you can stun enemies. Status effects are a big part of the combat as well, so you can stun enemies, you can make them bleed. As you can see, the resistance down here, these are basically all different things you can do in the combat. So there's stun, blight is basically about poison and toxins and stuff, that kind of effects. Diseases, well, there's a bunch of different diseases like syphilis, rabies, and there's a bunch of those. Death blows, this one I'll explain in a moment. Then there's movement. As I said, the rank system, as you can see the positions here, is very key and crucial in the game. There's abilities that will move and change your party composition by yourself, and enemies can do it as well. For example, pushing your Crusader tank from rank 4 to rank 4, sorry, rank 1 to rank 4, and having your casters in the front rank, or just pulling your caster from the back of the row into front of the party formation, can be quite bad. So this is the resistance against move abilities. Then there's bleeding, different kinds of debuffs, and there's traps as well. This one is more really about disarming traps than really resisting them. So you can spot the traps early on, and then you can use heroes to poke the traps and disarm. This guy is pretty crap at doing that. If you take a look at the Highwayman, he has probably much higher trap resistance. And he has a bit different skills. So you can see that the Highwayman is kinda class that can perform wherever he is in the party formation. So he has for example, Visual Shot, which can be done wherever except in the front rank, and it hits anything except the front row. But he does have a point blank shot also that can be used from the front. Plus he has Grape Shot, which can be only used while you're in the 2 or 3 slots in the party, and he will hit all 3 from 1 to 3, which great ability. There's a self buff here for him, increased accuracy and critical rate, and some bleeding abilities. And currently there's 10 different classes in the game, but in the full version there's supposed to be 13. And what I've been playing the game, all the classes are really actually quite well done, and all of them are very usable in the party formations. I didn't really find any class that was like, this is the super class, OP as hell, and this is something you must use. Some classes are definitely a tiny bit better in certain situations, but I found use for every class in the game, which is kind of surprising in many of these RPG type of games. There usually is some kind of holy trinity you run, like tank, healer, DPS class in MMOs or whatever, and in this one there doesn't seem to be really that kind of. Surely there's Crusaders and healers and those you can have in a party, and they will definitely work fairly well, but you can do other kinds of party compositions. Of course, you do want to have, because of the party formation rank system, that you want to have guys who are in the back and can shoot from back and not just have 4 melee guys, for example. Although a lot of the melee guys do have ranged abilities as well. If you take a look at the Crusader again here, they do actually have Holy Lands, which can be used from the back rows. So you could basically run 4 Crusaders if you wanted. Also, healer is, well, it's not must to have, but it's quite good to have healer usually in a RPG game. And there's 2 different hero classes, both of them are really viable to have as well. But anyways, let's take a look at more of these things. So, quirks are one of the most interesting systems in this game. So all your heroes, or whatever they are, do have quirks, or can get quirks. There are positive ones and negative ones, and these come from various things. Pretty much anything you can do. Anything you do in the game can give you these. Usually doing a mission, you get either positive or negative, or both of them. After the completion of the mission, you can get some certain events in the missions. So even some enemies can give you permanent quirks. Like some diseases can last permanently. Like there's some strange pig human spawns that vomit on you, and they can give you diseases which will last until they are removed. So these are really interesting things that can change your guys quite a lot, and some of them are actually pretty funny as well. For example, this Reynald, the Seeker Crusader. Seeker is actually his level, so he's level 1, level 0 actually. He's a Warrior of Light, so he gets a bonus when the light is above 75. I'll explain the light system in a second. And he's Kleptomaniac, so whenever you encounter something in the dungeon and loot that, there's a chance that Reynald may just pocket the stuff himself and not give it to the rest of the party, and it will be permanently lost. And he's God-fearing, so he can only pray in town to relieve stress. And stress is one of the key mechanics in the game. I'll show you that next. So down here you can see the HP and the stress level, and stress goes from 0 to 100. And since this is kind of Lovecraftian horror and all kinds of horrible things happen in the game, your heroes gather stress, and stress does nothing normally. Well, until you hit 100, and then they will suffer a test of fate. And tests of fates can go both ways. Some people become emboldened by the stress, become courageous, and some other positive effects, and they lose the stress because of that, and they'll get a beneficial buff till the end of the dungeon. Or they can get afflictions, which are pretty horrible, to say the least. For example, there is abusive, paranoid, and all kinds of stuff that they can start doing. For example, abusive is very, very nasty, especially in a long dungeon, because abusive a hero will complain constantly to the other heroes in the party and generate stress for them, which will, of course, snowball quickly. Your other guys get a test of fate because the stress gets high, and probably get some negative effects from that, and then it goes all to hell because of that. So managing your stress level is really, really important in this game. And many of these quirks here can also affect how much you get stress. There's like beneficial abilities that lower the stress gain from certain monsters in certain dungeons, and there's of course a variety of negative effects that will make you stress even more. Let me show the light system here. So up here is the torch. So you need a... well, you don't need light, but you prefer to have as much light as possible. It gives you positive scouting. Scouting is when you explore a room. You get like a sneak peek what's coming ahead, which allows you to spot traps, know where the enemies are, so you can maybe avoid them, or, well, prepare anyways, instead of just blindly running at them. And this plus monster surprise means that you get to act first, so it's basically a surprise attack. And when the light goes down, the scouting goes away, the monster surprise goes away, and it actually turns around when you get really dark, that monsters will surprise you. Also, critical rate goes really, really high when you are in the complete darkness. So there's a viable tactic when your party is prepared for it, that you go totally blind in darkness and just crit the hell out of the enemies. But generally, having a light is good. Also, working in the darkness is really bad for your stress levels, so that's also kinda nasty. Let's go back to the stats screen here. So you have base stats, as usual in the RPGs. There's a gear for your guys, so this is level 1 gear. You can upgrade these in the town. They have two kind of trinket slots where you're gonna add items, which will affect different stats, increase damage, increase resistance, all the usual stuff. Let's see. And here's the experience level. So the Seeker is level 0, and they get Resolve XP. Every time you complete a dungeon, they get some experience. And with the experience, you can level up skills and your weapons and armors. So you need a smith to upgrade your armor, plus you need the level to actually be able to use the higher level ones. Let's get going. I'll show you how the game works. So basically you move back and forth in this area here, and you have a map system. So you're here, this is the corridor into this room, so you click on the room where you want to go.
Brigands have run up these lanes.
And where
keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Movement explained. The game has a narrator, as you just heard, and the narrator constantly explains and comments on things happening, and he's actually really, really well done. He's really fun to listen to. Unlike in some other games, some of the narrators can really quickly become boring and annoying, but he's extremely well done. And usually will kinda be a Debbie Downer and complain about your things you're doing and pretty much laughing at you for failing. Also, in dungeons you have a inventory where you can use items. At the moment we have only food, but there's bandages, anti-poison potions, firewood for camping, all your loot, money, and goes here when you loot. So the inventory is actually limited, so sometimes you have to throw out stuff just to get some more loot and all kinds of stuff. All equipment you find in the dungeon goes here unless you equip it immediately on your guys and all that. But let's move in. So we're moving in the corridor there.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
And here is the battle. So one brigand cutthroat against me, and the combat works. It's a turn-based combat, so you can plan your actions, but you don't really see what's the turn order. Well, you don't see what's the turn order, so you kind of have to just go in blindly and hope. Well, you can rely on the speed on the enemies. You can see the brigand cutthroat has speed 3 as well, dodge 2. It's a human, has some resistances. Crusader speed 0, so he's slow. So he goes first basically on this turn, but it gets complicated when you have 8 units acting and have stuns going and all that. But anyways, let's click on the open veins here. So it shows it can hit here. If I use something like the grape shot, it would still hit the first rank, but I cannot use the pistol shot because he's in the front first rank, so we are not able to use that. I'm just gonna slice him for a bit of damage and a bleed. Then he goes with his speed 3, acts and stabs me a bit. He got a bleeding effect there, so 2 points of damage. And I'm just gonna smite him.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And the thing you saw there was losing stress level. So I actually lost 4 stress from killing an enemy. Criticals also lower the stress level a lot, so it's a good way to see, a good way to lower your stress levels. And you can also move your party composition around like that, outside of combat and in combat as well. This guy has move back 1 and forward 1. This can actually change between classes. As you can see, this is move 2 and move forward 2. So he can move from 1 to 2 spots, and there is actually people who move even 3. And sometimes it can be really annoying even, say the Crusader gets in the back row here, and he has only move 1. It's gonna take forever for him to get back in the front row, and that can be really annoying, especially when they juggle you around in there. So we got some money in there, and loot. Let's go in. So as we've moved, you see that the light has gone from 100 to 88. It's gonna go down as we move, and the thing you just saw pop there, if you saw it, was gaining stress level. So all the time we are in here and move around, we are still accumulating stress. So he's now 13 stress, which is not good. And this is one of the interactive objects you can find in the dungeons, one of these camps. You can click on it, and there's always an option to check the tent or check the object, whatever it is. And there's an ignore option as well. Plus, there's optional, you can use an item. For example, there's graves, so you have a shovel, you can use a shovel in there. And you can use items in various ways to interact with different things. You have keys for chests like that, and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of them are also not really explained, and it's a bit of trial and error. But you don't usually... Actually, I've never seen you lose an item when you try it, so it's pretty much... If you have some items and you don't know if you can interact with the object with those items, might as well try and see what happens. But we'll poke this and see what happens. So there are some valuables inside.
Leave nothing unchecked.
And take the money.
There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Take them, and you can also take some of the items. If you don't take the items, they are permanently gone, so you cannot come back and get them. You can come back though, but you cannot get them again. So you have to decide on the spot if you're gonna take them or not. And at the end of each of these corridors, there's a door like this, and you click on the door and you move into the room.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
So this is a bit more annoying monster. Brigand Bloodletter. He's a human with low speed and dodge, has a bit higher resistances, and has a shit ton of HP. And he's actually a big enemy. He's occupying the ranks 1 and 2. And he's in a rank 3. And he's a ranged guy with a some kind of blunderbuss, I guess. And he's nasty. So if I use the grape shot, you see that it hits these two and this guy, but it doesn't hit him twice. I think I'm gonna just shoot the Fusilier in the back, get him out of action quickly, and try to stun the big guy. So we have the stunning blow here. He does have 50% resistance. This does do damage as well, but getting him out of action would be quite beneficial. There we go, 3 damage and a stun. And it's his turn now, and the stun goes away. So getting stunned makes you lose a turn, which is of course good for me. Ah, the dodge. Damn. Punishment. And a bleed. This is actually not that easy battle. I may even lose this, to be honest. I just need to keep stunning him until we get rid of the other guy. We don't have a healer, which is pretty bad. So I have a bleed on me for 2 damage for 3 rounds, 2 rounds now. So he's actually gonna go really low just from that. Ah, another dodge. Well then, the game is very random. Well, you do see the, like, there's a hit chance of 85% and all that. There's critical chance on that. Random plays a big part in the game, and it can really screw you over sometimes. But that's just the nature of roguelikes and random. He's still stunned, so I can just smite him a bit. And he loses his turn again. But this guy with his blanket fire here is gonna kill us soon if I don't actually hit him.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Let's keep stunning him. Good job. Hopefully we can... Oh, point blank shot. Ouch. That was nasty. He knocked me back and shot me in the face with a lot of damage. Let's see if I can actually finish you. He resisted the bleed. Stun sounds like a good option still. Stun is actually one of the most powerful abilities in the game, because it does take the enemy out of action totally. And
the bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
So we got some money. So you have to take all option here, but you can also drag these items wherever you want here. And we have the quest complete here. You can use items in the inventory by right-clicking them. So I could eat the food and get some healing. Food is usually... well, you do need food, because your party will get hungry in the dungeons. And if you don't eat, well, you're gonna starve. And that's really bad for health and stress. And you can also use torches, so 75 light at the moment. I can use the torch to increase back
As
to
the
100.
light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
And we can loot this chest at the end here as well. Bandit's trap chest. Well, let's see how bad that is. It's trapped. We got a plight, and we didn't get anything out of that. But it doesn't matter. That's only a poison. But since we are completing the mission right now, it's no worry. There we go. And after the mission you get this victory screen, so you get the where you are, quest rewards. Each quest has a reward on it. It can be money, it will be heirlooms. Heirlooms are used to upgrade your buildings, and it's money usually. And it can be also equipment for your heroes, so it's actually quite nice. And this is the leveling up screen. So we got level 1 on each of these guys from the Resolve experience. So they're level 1 now, and he got some new quirks. Let's see what you got. So he's now Nymphomaniac. So in Activity Brothel he gets plus 20% stress heal. So when your stress gets high, you can lower it in the dungeon by doing critical hits, using abilities, resting in the camp and all that. But outside of the missions you can send your people to lose stress in different activities. I'll show them in a second in the town. So let's return to the town here. I should have actually just yeah, I'm gonna jump into the other gameplay I've done on my stream and show you.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
So this is the activity log. So after each quest, you see what you did during that week. So we got level ups, we completed the mission, and we unlocked the ruins. And there's goals for us. So these are basically bosses that you need to kill. There's currently 9 of them, plus there's roster goals as well. Basically kind of achievements, but still goals. And these are the ones you are trying to pretty much go at the moment. So let me get out of there. I'm gonna go exit the main menu, and I'll load up my proper campaign here and show you a bit more completed hamlet and what you can actually do there. Because a lot of the buildings are locked in the start of the game. Also, you cannot go to every location in the map. So it's kind of difficult to see if I don't show you a bit more completed.
I can still see their angry faces as they stormed the manor. But I was dead before they found me.
So.
And the letter was on its way.
So this is the hamlet. And here's my current roster. So you can have multiple heroes. And in here you do various activities. For example, this is the stagecoach here. And this one allows you to hire new people. So these 4 people here are ready to join me, and you can just drag them into your party formation if you have room. And depending on the level of the coach, you have a different amount of people available, and also depending on the level of the coach, how much you can have people in your roster. So buildings are upgradable, like I said earlier, and here's the upgrade option. So this can be upgraded to stagecoach network and hero barracks. So this one increases the available heroes that are shown after each mission, and they only refresh once you complete a mission or retreat from a mission, basically, as well. And the barracks affects how many you can have. So at the moment I can have 15 people. This one seems to go up by 2, 17 next, and I think 19 at the max level. So you can have a big roster, and you actually do need a big roster because of the stress that you need to lower by doing different activities. Also, you cannot do certain level, your high level heroes will not go do some menial tasks at the lower level dungeons. So you kind of do need different level people and different kind of compositions. So for the stress reduction, so here we have, for example, tavern. So in tavern you can drink away your cares, you can go gambling, and you can go to brothel, and they can all be upgraded here. It affects how many you can have in there. By default it's 1 for each, but these are, for example, upgraded, so we can have 2 people in there at a time. And there's also reduction on the cost and increase on the stress recovery in that location. So you can have a best bar in town and best brothel in the land, and your heroes will be merrily reducing stress there. All heroes can have quirks that prevent them from doing certain things or requiring them to do only certain thing. Like the Crusader we had earlier, it was God-fearing, so he can only go to the Abbey and pray there. Certain people are known cheats, so they cannot gamble. And all these options to lower the stress also have different effects. Like going to the brothel can get you, well, STDs, syphilis and all kinds of fun stuff, which are actually really bad. You can get love interest in there, so you only can do brothel, or you can get go to bar, get a bit drunk there too much, get some negative effects that will last you for the next mission, like double-sided for minus accuracy and all kinds of stuff. Also, there is an option in the bar which we found out yesterday with my stream, that you can go on a drunken bender and never to be seen again. He may come back someday, but he's gone now permanently. So that we lost actually one of my better heroes yesterday by him getting a bit too drunk and never to be seen. So yeah, there's that. And here's the Abbey, another stress reduction. So you can go to Cloister for meditation, you can pray for higher powers, or you can go whip yourself a bit in a penance hall. And these also have different effects on your hero. Negative and positive. Then we have Sanitarium, and this can be used to treat quirks, like Tragedy Gun here, one of my heroes, the Hellion here, is having quite a lot of quirks. These are always positive, so you want to stockpile as many of these, and you want to have as little of these as possible. I think we went to heal his... I don't know which one it was. We were healing one of his quirks anyways. Here's actually a couple of the items as well. So here's a Charm, gives critical and minus accuracy. Hellion only item. Plus chance on bleed skills and plus 10% damage. So here's the items as well. Then we have the upgrade room buildings, like the guild here. Guild can be used to upgrade your skills. So for example, if I drag Half Dunsken there, here's his current skills. You can unlock these with money, 1,000 for each, and then you can level up them as well, and you see what happens when you do it. So basically a Bulwark of Fate level 2 would give me plus 2% protection when I use it. And leveling up these skills is actually really beneficial. Then we have the Blacksmith, and we can drag Paizo in there, and here we can upgrade the weapons. Like he has crafted sachets and Doctor's robes, and you can click on these and level them up. He's actually max level at the moment for my building. I should actually go and upgrade it a bit. But they get quite costly as you go. Then we have a couple of different options here as well, which are not directly related to your heroes. We have a graveyard, so you can see your dead heroes. We have a couple unfortunate souls who died during my stream. And we have a couple of buildings where you can buy items as well.
Trinkets and charms, gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
So you have a Nomad Wagon, which has random items for sale. The amount of items can be increased by upgrading the stagecoach, and also you can lower the price, which is nice. These are really expensive items, but they can be also really powerful. Like here, Brawler's Claws in rank 1, so you need to be actually in the first rank to use this. Will increase your damage by 10%, but there's -4 critical chance on you, so you won't probably crit ever with these, but certain plus damage is also very good. All the items are actually a bit situational. You almost always, I'll say, have a positive effect and a negative effect. Like this one is +5 death blow resist, and you have a dodge penalty. This one, damage on monsters increased by 50%, but not on monsters. Beasts is -60%. So you kind of have to decide if you wanna take the negative effects with the positive effect. This actually reminds me, I was gonna explain to you about the death blow resist. So in combat, when you fight with the enemies and you go to 0 health, the death is permanent in this game, like I showed you the graveyard. If your hero dies, he's permanently gone. So this can be really punishing. For example, if you're high-level party vibes, you are in a bit of a trouble after that. But that's why we have the death blow there. So when your hero hits 0 HP or lower, but he gets to 0, he will not die immediately. He gets to a state called Death's Door, and at the Death's Door, every party member will lose, will gain a bunch of stress level. So getting a Death's Door is like he's about to die, and everyone is crapping their pants that he's about to go, and any additional damage can kill him. But then we have the death blow because of this. So this is a chance to resist dying when you are at the Death's Door. So basically 2/3 of damage will be resisted by Rayman or this Crusader, and he has pretty good chance of surviving hits after he is at the Death's Door, but you really shouldn't count on this. Some of the other guys have really low, actually pretty high. Let's look at some of the lower level guys. Well, it is pretty high. But yeah, 2/3 still is 1/3 chance to die from the next hit. So Death's Door is not something where you want to be. It's also really annoying sometimes when you are at the Death's Door, because healing abilities in these games are not that powerful. They heal like from well, from 0 to 12 or so. Actually, they can be a bit more as well. They are always either really low if they are guaranteed healing, or really random. Like this occultist class is actually the other healing class, and they have this Word Reconstruction, which heals from 1 to 10. Sorry, from 0 to 10, and adds bleed on your target as well, which can be resisted though, and it's actually quite often resisted. So it can heal for 0 and make your guy bleed for 3. So it's kind of negative healing. Then you have healing from the Vestals. This one is a single target heal for 3 to 5. Then you have a Divine Comfort, which is an area heal for your whole party from 1 to 2. And also the Crusaders have a healing ability called Inspiring Cry, which heals only 1. So healing is actually quite low often. And if you're at the death's door at 0 HP, you get healed by 1. By a Crusader, you go to 1 HP. You take damage again. You go back to 0, and you're back at the death's door. You get again the stress penalty for everyone. Then you heal for 1 again, so that your guy doesn't die. He goes back to death's door. Everyone goes ballistic, and it just snowballs, and everything is horrible after that. So yeah, death's door is not something where you want to be. Let me show you the Embark as well. So this is the map of the game where you go to missions. So the current game has only 3 of the regions in game: Ruins, Veld, and Varans. In the full game, there will be also the Cove and the Darkest Dungeon, which will be the last area of the game. And there's always missions in these locations. Like there is 4 in there, 1 in there, and 2 in there. Green ones are apprentice level missions, and when your guys get to level 3, they will no longer accept level 1 apprentice missions, so you need to have lower level people to do those. Then you have veteran level missions for people who are a bit higher level, and then there's champion level and worse. And also you have these boss missions, like this one with the gold well, symbol around it, is to kill the Necromancer. Level 3 veteran. This will be a fun mission. Also you see these are medium or a short, and I think there's a long version as well. So the short is just a small dungeon, level 5. It's usually high level dungeons that are short, but they will get longer, and that means they are more difficult. And this one does not involve camping. In a medium length, you have 1 camping, and in a long, you have well, more than 1 camping. And you can choose wherever you go. You see the rewards down here. So if you, for example, need these heirlooms here, so for example my deeds are low, so I probably should go to get some deeds if I need to level up a certain building, as they are used to level up those. And you can always see what's given between these quests. So here's some portraits, and here's actually an item as well, a move amulet from a quest. Also these icons up here, which are the heirlooms, kind of indicate what kind of heirlooms you usually get when you do these. So this one is busts and crests, here's paintings and crests, deeds and crests, and these higher level ones are deeds and portraits, and Darkest Dungeon doesn't have anything yet. So if this wasn't actually shown in the game, I wouldn't know this is an early access game, because it's so very well done already. And this is really the only indication that there's something missing. And I highly recommend this game. If you are a fan of roguelike games, RPGs, and like turn-based strategy, this is definitely one of the best games so far that are in this genre. I highly recommend checking this out. And that's pretty much my Darkest Dungeon look for this time. So take a look at my other quick looks, my Let's Plays on the YouTube, my Twitch.tv channel, and all the other stuff as well. Thanks for watching again. I'll see you guys next time.